Later that day, Olivia created a mental list of possible suspects in the case of the missing photo and Danny's burned photo lab. Bjorn and Monica were currently at the top of her list. As she contemplated her list of suspects, one of her classmates turned around and said, "Liv, let me know when you're going to the student council this afternoon. I'll go with you." The boy sitting diagonally in front of Olivia suggested. "To the student council?" Olivia was caught off guard. "Why would I go to the student council?" "They're conducting interviews for a new committee in the student council room this afternoon. Don't you know?" The boy replied. I didn't hear about it," Olivia said as she processed the information. "You guys should have fun, though." "No way, Olivia, you used to be class president. You need to be part of this," the boy said, while a girl behind him chimed in. "Oh, why are the student council members so annoying?" Olivia appreciated her classmate's passion. "Oh, it's really okay, guys. I don't care that much." Olivia smiled lightly. "You should at least care about it." The girl waved her fist in indignation. "It's one thing to steal someone's work, but it's another to kick them out of something they created. It's just not right." "Don't worry about it, really." Olivia tapped the table with her fingertip. "Whoever's responsible will get what they deserve." As if summoned, Amber swaggered into the classroom and received harsh gazes from all the students. "What's with the ugly faces?" Amber asked. "Well, I guess some of you can't help it," she continued. The boy spoke up. "We know what you're doing, Amber." "What are you talking about?" Amber asked, already annoyed. "You didn't tell Olivia about the interviews. You're trying to keep her out of groups that she'd be perfect for." Olivia used the students' accusations to tap into Amber's thoughts. "If you only knew, I'm trying to do so much more," Amber thought. Amber locked eyes with Olivia, and Olivia thought, "Suspect number 3. God, I have to get rid of her." Amber looked back at the boy and addressed him. "I'm not keeping Olivia out of anything. Maybe she's just not needed." Olivia bit her tongue as her distaste for Amber continued to grow. Amber continued, "If you don't like it, don't join." Olivia spoke up so her classmate wouldn't have to keep battling Amber. "Be careful, Amber. You might be able to keep me out of silly little committees, but you could lose so much more." Amber felt the coldness in Olivia's response. "Is that a threat, Olivia?" Amber challenged. "Not at all, Amber," Olivia said with a devious smile. Amber was rattled for a very brief moment, but quickly recovered. She gave Olivia an icy glare before she walked out of the room seething, trying to come up with another plan to make Olivia miserable. "I have to put an end to her," Amber thought. "I don't see how you tolerate her," Olivia's classmate said. "I'm not afraid of chaos. I could outsmart her any day of the week if I wanted to," Olivia answered. "You might be dealing with more chaos than hers," Steve said as he walked into the room. Steve sat next to Olivia and took out his phone. "Come, read the latest news on the school's official website." "Huh?" Everyone looked at Steve. "What are you talking about, Steve? What's on the website?" Steve read the article on the website. Last year's campus model champion photo disappeared out of fear of competition. Steve looked at Olivia. "Are you really giving up because you're scared of the others in the competition? Because if you aren't, this article is spreading fast and people are starting to talk. You'll have to do something if you don't want this to get back to you." Olivia thought deeply. "I never cared about this competition. Now I can't escape it. What am I supposed to do about this? Retrieve my picture from the ashes of Danny's torched photo lab?" Olivia said, full of frustration. "I don't know, but you'll have to do something. I heard a rumor that you burned down Danny's lab so he wouldn't release the photo," Sam replied. "What?" Olivia said, shocked. "I would never do that to Danny. I didn't even see the photos." Olivia fumed. "I'm just telling you it's spreading around the school," Steve said with his arms up. "Liv, I think the student council is trying to get you expelled," Millie said as she sat down. They're intentionally hyping everything up and saying you tried to ruin the campus model competition." The boy from before sneered and said, "The student council is going to cause so much trouble." "It's more than just causing trouble," Steve snorted and said. "They're out for blood, Liv. And it seems like they won't stop until you're the most hated person in the school. Liv, how do you want to fight back? Tell me." Lena clenched her fist and said, "Do you want me to hack the school's official website?" "Yes." Zach nodded and said, "I will also go to the official website. We can get the truth out. I can even get Danny and Callie involved. They can vouch for you and say you had nothing to do with the fire. And we can all reply and share it. We can get it all over QQ so people can stop with the slander." The others were so filled with righteous indignation. "Maybe you should do a post on QQ, Liv, so people can hear the truth," Millie said as others cheered on. "Everyone calm down." Olivia's face was indifferent as she mulled over ways to get revenge. "We don't need any QQ posts or hacked articles or anything else." "But Liv," Sam frowned. "No buts," Frances said. "Listen to her. If she doesn't want to play their dirty games, then we shouldn't force her." "I think we have to play their game. They clearly have no limits, but it's not time yet. They have too much manpower," Millie said. The student council was really cunning. She would remember this vendetta of theirs. Hearing Millie and Frances's words, everyone could only grit their teeth and endure their anger. The student council was truly despicable. "Listen to me, everyone." Olivia crossed her arms in front of her chest, and the corners of her mouth seemed to have a faint smile, but her eyes were full of vigor. She was waiting for an opportunity, and it was going to come soon. As Olivia started to speak, Camilla and Cameron Pell walked towards the classroom. They stood outside the door so they wouldn't be seen. Camilla signed to Cameron. "It looks like she's gathering a group of students for something." Cameron furrowed his brows as he looked closer into the classroom. The Pell twins made sure to stay silent. They knew they couldn't be seen. This could be their chance to find a weakness in Olivia. In the classroom, Olivia spoke with certainty. "Millie is right. They're playing a dirty, dirty game, and we can't fight fire with fire. We have to be patient. We have to be the opposite of all their dumb and vicious attacks. I'll be sickly sweet until their web of lies traps them." "You catch more flies with honey," Steve said. "Exactly," Olivia replied. "I can fight all of their attacks, but that can't prove anything. So when people come looking for proof, we'll give it to them. I'm just a sweet girl who had her picture destroyed," Olivia said with an innocently sweet smile that carried venom. "We have your back, Olivia," a classmate said, which caused cheers from the others in the room. Her friends hyped her up and supported Olivia. Outside of the classroom, the Pell twins looked shocked. Camilla signed to Cameron. "She's more powerful than we imagined." "How so?" Cameron asked. "She can bring people together. They'll fight for her no matter what. If we want to get to Olivia, we're going to have to play a different game. A game where we're disguised as friends." Camilla signed. "Operation BFFs?" Cameron signed. Camilla nodded. The twins walked down the hall as they tried to come up with new strategies. As Olivia continued chatting in the classroom, she noticed Cameron and Camilla outside. She quickly excused herself, saying, "I'll be right back, everyone." Olivia exited the room, following Cameron and Camilla down the hall. Cameron and Camilla, unaware that Olivia was following them, continued discussing their plan. Olivia tapped into their minds as she lingered behind them. "I don't think Olivia would trust us. Maybe we should try getting close to one of her friends," Camilla thought. Just as they turned a corner, they ran into Amber, who was waiting there. Amber sneered. "What are you two doing here?" Cameron and Camilla were taken aback for a moment, but quickly recovered. "Just heading to the library," Camilla said casually. "We have some research to do," Camilla added. Amber looked them up and down skeptically, but decided not to press further. Instead, she couldn't resist sharing some gossip. "You two wouldn't believe what's going on with Olivia. It's juicy." Camilla feigned curiosity. "Oh, really? What's happening?" Amber leaned in and whispered, "There's a scandal about Olivia's photo for the competition. They say it's gone missing, and the student council's making a big deal out of it. They're trying to make her look bad." Cameron looked at Camilla. Camilla signed to him, and the twins exchanged knowing glances. "Interesting," Camilla said, trying to appear unfazed to Amber. Intrigued, Olivia hopped into Amber's mind. "If I can get these two on my side, we could really take Olivia down." Camilla added, "We should keep an eye on this." Olivia jumped back into the minds of the twins. "Something about Amber feels off, but maybe she'll be useful," Cameron thought. Amber grinned, thinking she had found some allies in her mission to take down Olivia. "You should keep an eye on it. Who knows what else will come out about our dear Olivia." Learning all she needed to know, Olivia stealthily headed back to class. Just as Olivia turned a corner, she ran into her teacher, Adam, who was heading back to the classroom. He raised an eyebrow as he noticed her presence. "Olivia, why are you out here?" Adam inquired, his gaze focused on her. Olivia sighed, her tone carrying a sense of frustration. "Adam, it's about that missing photograph for the competition. The one that's been causing all the fuss." Adam nodded, his expression understanding. "Yes, I've heard about it. What's the latest on that front?" Olivia quickly filled him in on the current scandal, the missing photograph, and the rumors about her involvement in Danny's lab fire. She didn't hold back her frustration and confusion as she recounted the events. Adam's eyes widened in shock as he heard the details. Then he consoled Olivia and said, "Oh, Liv, I'm so sorry to hear that." He contemplated for a moment, floored by everything that had transpired so quickly, and how unfortunate it all seemed. "What are you going to do?" "What am I going to do?" Olivia thought. "That's the question of the century. With no one to trust, I could fall right into Amber and Bjorn's trap. But if I don't fight back, what will they do to me?" Back in her homeroom class, a group of students who had witnessed the showdown between Amber and Olivia gathered around Olivia and the council. "We have to do something." Sam Feinstein paced anxiously in front of Olivia. "We have to send a message to the student council that they can't get away with this." Olivia smiled at Sam. It was such a good feeling to have people on her side for once. "It's not that I don't agree," Olivia started, "but what can we possibly do?" "Let's kill him," another student in the huddle joked, leading to a ripple of agreement and laughing throughout the group. Olivia smirked to herself. Inside, she knew that was always an actual option for her, even if her classmates only meant it as a joke. "Seriously, guys," Olivia continued, not letting on that murder really was a viable option. "If you were in my shoes, what would you do?" "What if you run for president again?" Another student chimed in. "Bjorn might be the school president of the entire student body, but elections for the senior class president are still coming up. You'd be in a slightly less powerful position than him, but at least you'd still be in a position of power." Olivia mulled it over. Being senior class president was an idea she had played around with, but the elections were still down the road. She needed to find a quicker solution to this problem. "We'll see," Olivia teased at the idea of running. "But we need something in the meantime, something more immediate. What can we do to show the student council that we can fight back?" Olivia's classmates looked at each other, perplexed. Although they were all angry at the situation and supported Olivia, what could they do? This wasn't the first time the student council had played dirty, and they all knew it wouldn't be the last. But that was how things went when it came to politics among the elite, even if just a high school level. And besides, even if they were able to make one of their teachers believe them, the damage was already done. They couldn't unburn Danny Wilson's studio. If it were me, a shy-looking girl in the back of the group spoke up, I would still compete in the campus model competition. The girl clenched her fist, mustering up all the courage she had. You have to stay strong in the face of oppression. Olivia smiled kindly at the girl. Obviously, this was someone who knew what it was like to be pushed around. Olivia thought of herself in her past life, how she always let her bullies win over her. She wasn't going to repeat the same mistakes this time around. So, Olivia, have you decided what you're going to do? Adam approached the group. He knew something shady was going on with the student council, but as a teacher, he had to remain neutral. Besides, the parents behind the worst of his students usually had their own ways to punish him if he ever dared to challenge their children. Olivia took a deep breath. I'm going to continue to compete in the campus model competition, she said resolutely, with or without a Danny Wilson photo. A few murmurs of shock and surprise sounded throughout the students, but Adam just smiled at Olivia proudly. But Olivia... Sam had stopped his pacing and now stared at Olivia in disbelief. Competing is a lose-lose situation. He began pacing again as he explained. If you lose, well then, obviously you've lost. But if you win... Sam paused dramatically. If you win, the student council will find another way to make your life miserable. And that could be much, much worse. He swallowed. Basically, it's a dead end. But a dead end is never really a dead end. Olivia grinned. There's always another road behind it. And if I have enough support, we can work together to break through to the other side. Olivia proclaimed, sounding very sure of herself. That's right, Francis exclaimed, practically jumping out of his seat. We'll all help you forge ahead no matter what. Steve Shook, who had stayed mostly silent up until now, smirked at Olivia. You can count on us. He winked. We'll always have your back. As the support of her fellow classmates grew, Olivia almost felt like she could cry. I never knew what it felt like to have so many good people in my life, she thought to herself. No matter what happens with the campus model competition, I will always feel like I'm doing so much better than my last life because of these friends. Okay, well, we still have a problem, Sam Feinstein piped in, ruining the moment of camaraderie with his worries. You no longer have a photo to submit to the competition. At this, the group's excitement deflated slightly. But then Lena's eyes lit up, remembering something. Olivia, Lena piped up. Millie took a great photo of you the other day at our barbecue. Maybe we could use that. All eyes turned to Millie, whose face immediately turned pink from the attention. Oh no, it's not very good, Millie answered bashfully, wanting to shift the attention back to Olivia. Can I at least see it, Millie? Olivia asked as supportively as possible. She smiled at her bashful friend, knowing that Millie always underestimated herself. Millie hesitated, then reached into her pocket, pulling out her phone. Okay, but I warned you. She handed Olivia the phone, then immediately looked down so she wouldn't have to see Olivia's reaction to the photo. Millie had originally thought of giving the photo to Olivia to compete in the campus model competition. But when she realized Danny was taking photos of her for the same purpose, she decided against it. He was a professional photographer after all, with the best and most expensive equipment money could buy. Millie was just a silly little girl with a camera phone. Olivia looked at the picture on the phone. It was taken at the same time as Danny Wilson's photo. It showed Olivia in the park with Polly. Of course, it was not as professional looking as Danny's photo. The lighting was obviously not set up correctly, and due to the camera's limitations, Polly was partially in a blur of movement. On top of that, the photo was taken from an angle that made Olivia look less angelic and more human. Olivia studied the photo a moment longer. She really did look like just a normal girl. A normal girl who never lived through the extreme traumas Olivia had suffered in her previous life, or this life. A normal girl just having a nice day at the park with her dog. Olivia had never seen herself like this. She smiled and looked up at Millie. "This photo is perfect," she exclaimed, and Millie looked up from her spot on the floor, a look of genuine surprise on her face. "Really?" Millie asked, truly unsure of herself. "Really?" Olivia smiled brighter at Millie, reassuring her friend. "Okay then, it's settled." Adam clapped his hands together. "Millie, you send me the photo and I'll print it and post it to the website myself. We won't have any funny business this time around," Adam assured the students. "I'll do it right now," Millie said, excitedly tapping away at her phone to email the photo to their teacher. A whoosh sounded from Millie's phone, signifying that the photo had just been sent. Adam's phone beeped and he held it up for everyone to see. "Just got it. I'll head to the copy room now," Adam said. He gathered some things from his desk, making his way to the door. "In the meantime, everyone go back to silent study," he said, before making his way out of the room. The students began to disperse back to their desks, satisfied that this was a good first step to getting back at the student council. Before he could slip back to his own desk, Olivia reached out and grabbed Zach Colston's wrist. "Zach," she spoke in a hushed tone, so as not to worry any of her friends, "I need you to do something for me." Intrigued, Zach grinned at Olivia. "What do you need, boss?" "You're good with computers, right?" Olivia asked. She remembered hearing something about Zach being able to hack into the school's website and change the calendar so that the students got an extra 3 weeks of summer vacation. Of course, as soon as the school noticed, they changed the calendar, but they were never able to find the student who did it. Now the story floated around as sort of a Marshall School folktale, making Zach a legend to his own entire grade. "I dabble," Zach smirked, a slight cocky glint in his eye. "I need you to check the campus model website after Adam uploads the photo," Olivia continued. "Make sure there's no way Bjorn can mess with it this time." "You got it," Zach said confidently, then rushed back to his desk, pulling out his laptop to get started. "Millie," Olivia turned to her friend, who had been sitting close enough to hear the conversation between Olivia and Zach. "If we really want this to go to plan, we need to get the principal involved." Millie held up a hand, stopping Olivia. She wasn't sure what Millie would say. She knew her friend had a strained relationship with the principal, seeing as he was her father, and Millie had recently emancipated herself from her family. But Millie looked at Olivia bravely. "You can count on me," Millie said, swallowing accidentally, giving away her nerves. Olivia squeezed her friend's hand, grateful for all she was doing to help Olivia. "And what about me?" Sam asked. He'd been eavesdropping on Olivia and Millie, although he still didn't know Millie was the principal's daughter. Instead, assuming Olivia had asked her for this task because of her top grades. But nonetheless, he was jealous she hadn't asked him. "Is there anything I can do?" Sam continued. Olivia sat back in her seat. "All that's left to do now is wait," she grinned as she thought over her plan. "We just need to wait for all the pieces to fall into place." Adam rushed through the hall to the copy room, adrenaline coursing through his veins. Of course, he was supposed to remain neutral when it came to his students, but it wasn't always easy. Being a young man in his 20s himself, Adam could still vividly remember his own time at Marshall High. The students may change, but the scheming never does. He remembered his own bullies and the corrupt members of the student council when he was a student. It made him happy to think he could play even a small role in helping the underdogs this time around. As he entered the copy room, his face fell. Of course, Bjorn Jorgensen was there, working on the website for the campus model competition. Adam wouldn't let himself stoop to the level of a teenager. He walked over to the printer and began typing away at his phone as he spoke to Bjorn in a dismissive tone. "Good afternoon, Mr. Jorgensen," Adam said, using a tone of authority. "I'm glad to have bumped into you," he continued as the printer whirred to life. Bjorn turned in his seat suspiciously. "Oh, yes?" Why is that? He asked, using a voice most students would never use with a teacher. The photo printed, and Adam took it in his hand, smiling. Because I have a new photo submission for Olivia Johnson to give you. He handed the photo to Bjorn, smiling smugly at the rude student. I trust you'll upload it to the website as soon as possible? Adam continued as he turned to leave. In the doorway, he looked back at Bjorn. But don't worry if it slips your mind. He paused. I have access to the website as well, so I'll be checking in later and adding the photo myself if necessary. Adam smiled facetiously at Bjorn. Have a nice day, Mr. Jorgensen. Adam left the copy room feeling satisfied. Bjorn looked at the new photo of Olivia. It wasn't nearly as good as the one Danny Wilson had taken, and yet it still surpassed almost every other photo. Bjorn crumpled the picture in his fists and reached for his phone. He dialed a number and a girl's voice answered on the other end. Yeah? Bjorn said quietly into the phone. It's Bjorn. We have a problem. Olivia Johnson. She submitted another photograph. Bjorn paused as Yaya began to cry on the other end. Don't worry, he reassured her. I have a plan. Bjorn began typing on his laptop as he spoke. I'm sending you an email now that you will say was sent anonymously to you as a tip for the student paper. Yaya said, Go on. Bjorn smirked. We'll just tell the story of how Olivia broke the rules of the competition by submitting a second photo past the deadline, after arrogantly threatening the entire student council if they didn't let her compete. Bjorn hit send and sat back in his seat. What a vain little brat she is. This ought to teach her. Thanks to Adam's naive good intentions and a little help from Bjorn's scheming, Olivia's new campus model submission was featured front and center among the other photos by midday. And, as she predicted, the photo was drawing a lot of attention. During the first lunch period of the day, students clamored to the campus model photos, excited to see who submitted and what photo they chose to try to be the best model possible. Of course, they all had to stop and check out Olivia's photo. As the winner of last year's competition, the pressure was on for her photo to be as impressive as the one that took the school and the art world in general by storm. That's why, when the students saw Olivia's submission this year, they were surprised. It was clear that it wasn't taken by an artist such as Danny Wilson. In fact, it appeared this picture wasn't professionally photographed at all. In it, Olivia laughed as she played happily with a large husky dog, who was clearly moving at the time of the photo and partially blurred out. Despite that, Olivia looked cheerful and confident in the photo, and something about her demeanor drew the viewer in, instantly making them like this girl. This is Olivia Johnson, right? One of the students commented as he passed by the photo. Yeah, she was last year's winner. The girl next to him answered. The boy studied the photo for a moment. Well, she certainly is beautiful. I guess, but that's not enough to win the competition. The girl scoffed. Besides, did you read what the school newspaper said about her? No, what? The boy asked, intrigued by the promise of good gossip. It said that she was late with her submission. The girl continued conspiratorially, and in the comment section below the post on the school paper's website, people were saying that when the student council told Olivia it was against the rules to submit late, she threw a fit. Really? The boy said, studying the girl in the photo a little bit closer. She doesn't look like the type to be a brat. Well, looks can be deceiving, the girl asked. Another student who had been eavesdropping came up from behind. Are you talking about Olivia Johnson? The student asked, and the first girl and boy nodded vigorously. Well, I heard that not only did she throw a fit to be included in the campus model competition, the student continued, but she also threatened members of the student council if they didn't allow her photo to be considered. Like, I guess she said her dad would stop donating money to the school or something if they didn't let her participate. or would threaten to have them suspended or use her connections to stop them from getting internships or something even worse. "What a princess," the girl said. "She has to be included in everything." Another boy from the junior class, who had been bashfully listening, spoke up now. "I don't know, you can't believe everything you hear," he said. The three other students turned to the new voice. The junior swallowed before continuing. "Do you remember the Thanksgiving dinner last year the junior class hosted for the parents?" The students nodded. They had a vague memory of the event. "Well," the junior boy continued, "Olivia ran the whole thing. And even when drama broke out, she remained calm and did her best to keep everyone's spirits high. That doesn't seem like the kind of person who would care about a silly model competition enough to throw a hissy fit." The boy finished, feeling he had accurately made his point. The other students exchanged a look. That was true. They remembered now that Olivia had done everything in her power to keep from letting things fall apart at last year's Thanksgiving parent dinner. Between the old woman who got burnt by soup and the mother who confronted Olivia in front of everyone about how she should date her son, most people in Olivia's situation would easily fly off the handle. And yet, Olivia had remained calm through the entire thing. "That is true," the first boy commented. "Plus, I hear she's an amazing cook. My parents attended the dinner she hosted and raved about it weeks after." "What does that have to do with anything?" the girl he was with spat out. "My mom always says that to make delicious food, one has to be pure of heart, because they must put all of their love into the dish." The boy continued, satisfied enough with this explanation. "Oh, please," the girl continued. "Didn't you hear about how last year Olivia Johnson made a big deal with the photo, pretending she didn't want to submit when really she had gotten Danny Wilson to photograph her? I think she's a fake." Just then, Millie, Lena, and Olivia entered the room. Olivia had planned to use her powers to read the minds of the students milling about. She wanted to make sure Bjorn hadn't gotten to them first. But it appeared she wouldn't even need to use her special abilities, since students were choosing to gossip right out loud. Olivia cleared her throat behind the girl who had just been talking about her. The girl turned and yelped when she caught Olivia's gaze. "Oh, Olivia," the girl stammered. Sorry," she said, then rushed out of the room, tail between her legs. Who was that girl?" Lena asked, glancing in her direction as she bumped into other students, desperately trying to make her escape. "She's on the student council, of course," Millie said, rolling her eyes. "It makes sense they'd all listen to Bjorn before using their own brains." "We should bash her brains in for what she said about Olivia," Lena said fiercely. But Olivia just waved a hand in the air. "Oh, who cares?" Olivia walked casually through the displays of photographs. "It's not the first time someone has gossiped about me, and it certainly won't be the last." Olivia glanced around the room when suddenly her eyes froze. There, standing in front of Olivia's own photo, was a girl Olivia couldn't help but recognize. Monica, Olivia thought bitterly. Of course, she would have to come to ruin this day for me too. "Come on, let's look at the other submissions," Lena interjected, shaking Olivia out of her thoughts. "Although I'm pretty sure yours is a ringer," she insisted. "Between your looks and Millie's photography talents, no one else stands a chance." Olivia smiled and Millie blushed. Then the two followed Lena into the crowd. Olivia knew Monica must be up to something, but she wouldn't worry about it right now. She wouldn't let her wreck her senior year. Not this time around. Monica stood in front of Olivia's photo, scowling. Despite her best efforts to keep a straight face, Monica could never hide the disgust in her eyes whenever they happened upon Olivia. Suddenly, two of Monica's classmates ran up to her, and Monica quickly twisted her face into an innocent-looking smile. "Monica, we just saw your submission," the first classmate said. "It's so pretty, I'm sure you'll win," the second classmate gushed. Monica blushed, her acting skills getting better and better every day. "Oh no, I'm not nearly as pretty as the other girls who've entered the competition." Monica fluttered her eyelashes bashfully. The girls gasped in horror. "Don't say that about yourself." Monica smiled sadly, then looked back at the photo of Olivia. The classmates followed Monica's gaze. "That's your sister, right?" one of the girls asked. Monica nodded solemnly, then forced a tear, as if just thinking about Olivia's unkindness brought up a well of emotions in her. "You're so much prettier than her," the first classmate hissed. "Plus, you're a way, way better person." "That's right," the others agreed. "I heard that she had to bully her way into the competition in the first place." "No, girls, you've got it all wrong," Monica insisted. "Olivia isn't the kind of person to do something like that." Monica looked back at the photo and smiled. "And she is very beautiful. She obviously got the looks in our family." The two classmates exchanged a look of pity for Monica, then placed their hands on her shoulders. "You're such a sweetheart, Monica," one of the girls said. "Yeah, to defend a sister who obviously doesn't deserve it," the other girl added. "You really are a saint." The girls looked up at the photo again. "Hey, didn't you say you had a dog, Monica?" one of the girls asked. "Is this your dog in the photo with Olivia?" Monica had to work especially hard to hide her disgust at the suggestion, as if Monica and her mother Rachel would have such a mangy mutt like Olivia's stray dog. But Monica kept it together, smiling at her classmates. "No, I have a Maltese. Her name is Candy, and she's a professional show dog. She's won many competitions. She's so cute." "Then who's that dog in the photo?" the other girl asked, pointing up to the picture and the blurry dog in it. "That's a stray my sister found on the street and forced our parents to let her keep," Monica said, her voice giving way to a slight icy chill. She quickly covered it by letting her voice falter, as if she were about to cry again. "She brought the dog home and completely ignored it," Monica continued. "She didn't bother to train it, and then it tormented everyone in the house, especially my poor little Candy." The girls gazed at Monica sympathetically. "Then, when my mother confronted Olivia about it, suggesting perhaps they hire a trainer for the dog, Olivia refused and sent the dog away for it to become someone else's problem." Monica choked on this last sentence. She held her hand to her face as if it were all too much for her. "I'm sorry," Monica said, pretending she couldn't go on. "I just can't imagine what kind of person could abandon an innocent dog." The two classmates were absolutely horrified. Yes, they had heard Monica's stories about Olivia, and they seemed to be substantiated by the current rumors floating around the school concerning the campus model competition. But they could have never guessed that Olivia was also a dog abuser. That was a step too far. The classmates looked across the room at where Olivia stood with her friends. She looked so happy and casual. How could someone so despicable live with such ease? After all she had done to poor Monica? Monica saw the revulsion on her friends' faces. "That's right," she thought to herself. "Everything is falling into place exactly as I'd planned. Soon the entire school will know what kind of person Olivia Johnson truly is." Monica hid her thoughts well, instead putting on a look of terrified surprise. "Oh no, please don't say anything to her," Monica begged her friends, pulling at their sleeves to make herself seem truly desperate. "If she found out I told anyone, I just don't know what she'd do." The classmates turned to Monica, smiling reassuringly. "Don't worry, Monica, we would never tell." "Yeah, your secret's safe with us," the other girl promised. "Thank you so much. You really are the kindest people I know," Monica said, pulling the two girls in for a hug. While her face was hidden behind their backs, Monica smiled deviously to herself. Of course, she didn't believe the girls when they promised to keep her secret. But luckily for Monica, that's exactly what she wanted. Despite all the chatter about her, Olivia walked through the school with her head held high. She ignored all the stares from fellow students as she made her way to class. As she turned a corner, she spotted Monica. Monica's suspicious look and sly smile immediately set off alarm bells in Olivia's mind. She couldn't resist the urge to read Monica's thoughts from a distance, knowing that her stepsister was up to no good. As Olivia delved into Monica's thoughts, she couldn't believe what she discovered. As soon as word gets around about Olivia and the dog, they'll see just how ugly she is. No one can trust a girl that would abandon a sweet puppy, right? Monica's devious thoughts echoed in Olivia's mind, and it left her utterly dismayed. Another rumor, another attempt to tarnish her reputation, and this time, it involved her beloved dog. Frustration and anger welled up inside Olivia. It seemed there was no limit to the lengths her enemies would go to undermine her. "These people are relentless," Olivia muttered under her breath, shaking her head. Monica continued walking down the hall. Olivia quietly followed Monica down the school hallway. Her awareness heightened after hearing Monica's suspicious thoughts earlier. She made sure to keep her distance, shadowing Monica without being detected. Monica, unaware of Olivia's presence, continued down the corridor until she reached the doorway of an empty classroom. Olivia concealed herself behind a corner, peering out to observe Monica's actions. Monica stood in the doorway, her demeanor secretive. She spoke in hushed tones to a mysterious figure inside the room. Olivia was too far away and standing at an awkward angle, so she couldn't discern the identity of the person Monica was talking to. Nevertheless, Olivia strained her senses to catch every word. "I heard another juicy rumor about Olivia," Monica whispered with a devious grin, her voice barely audible. "This rumor, I think it's going to do even more damage to her reputation." Unfortunately, Olivia couldn't make out the response from the mysterious person inside the classroom. They kept their voice too low for her to hear clearly. But soon Monica nodded and said, "I'm on it. I'll make sure it gets to the right people." Olivia's blood ran cold. Olivia trudged to her class in frustration as she processed this sudden, tangled web of rumors. Were things escalating? When Olivia finally arrived at her classroom, she spotted Millie and Lena inside, their faces filled with concern as they stared at the school paper's website comment section, and then at a new anonymous blog that had just been created for the sole purpose of posting and discussing rumors that were swirling about Olivia Johnson. A crowd of students had gathered around, reading the latest rumors. Millie glanced at Olivia, her eyes brimming with sympathy. "Liv, you won't believe the latest one. It's utterly ridiculous," she said, her voice laced with frustration. Lena chimed in. "There's a rumor that you're brainwashing other students and have started some kind of cult. It's absolutely absurd." Olivia couldn't help but chuckle bitterly, even in the face of such outlandish accusations. "A cult, huh? Well, that's certainly a new one." "Our mighty cult leader, Olivia," a student at the back of the room joked, prompting laughter from others. Olivia couldn't help but overhear her classmates' thoughts. "I can't believe people are saying things about Olivia. These rumors are absolutely crazy. There's no way a sane person would believe any of this." Olivia smirked as she bounced through her classmates' thoughts. At least they were still firmly on her side. As Lena continued, Olivia refocused on the conversation, intrigued by what other absurd rumors were circulating. Lena said, "They're even saying Olivia can freeze time during exams to cheat. That's how she always finishes first and gets perfect scores." Millie shook her head in disbelief at the absurdity of it all. "There's even a comment saying Olivia did it during her last physics exam," Lena exclaimed. Olivia couldn't resist getting closer to the screen to read the website's comments for herself. She scanned through the comments of random students, each claiming they had personally witnessed Olivia committing these preposterous acts. The situation was spiraling out of control. Amid the sea of rumors and comments, Lena leaned in closer to Olivia and whispered, "Liv, do you think it's time we consider hacking into that blog to uncover who's behind these rumors? I know I've brought it up before, but with the way things are escalating, it might be our only option now." Olivia sighed, realizing that Lena might be onto something. You're right, Lena. It might be time to put your hacking skills to good use. Lena's eyes lit up with excitement as she felt Olivia was finally on board. Great. So here's the plan. Lena began to explain, her voice hushed. We need to infiltrate the blog server, trace the IP addresses of those posting those rumors, and gather concrete evidence to expose them. Olivia nodded in agreement, appreciating Lena's dedication to helping her. Okay, let's do it. We need to be careful and cover our tracks well to avoid getting caught. As Olivia and Lena discussed their hacking plan in hushed tones, Millie couldn't help but feel a twinge of jealousy. She wanted to be part of the action, to be the one Olivia turned to for help. Determined to impress Olivia, she interjected, You know, Liv, it's clear that the student council's behind this. We should launch an attack from within their ranks. We can dig up dirt on Amber, Bjorn, and the others. Olivia considered Millie's suggestion, but ultimately she turned back to Lena's plan. Millie, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but Lena has a point. Hacking into the blog might give us more concrete evidence. We can always use it as leverage if needed. Amidst the buzz of their hacking plan, Millie couldn't help but let her disappointment shine through, and she looked at Olivia with a hint of jealousy dancing in her eyes. With a sly, catty grin, she remarked, Well, Liv, it seems Lena's become your go-to hacker, huh? Must be fabulous to have such a talented sidekick. Olivia, sensing Millie's underlying bitterness, tried to defuse the situation with a chuckle. Oh, come on, Millie, it's not like that. Lena and I have teamed up on tech projects before, that's all. Millie gave a nonchalant shrug, though the edge in her voice was unmistakable. Sure thing, Liv, whatever you say. Just make sure Lena doesn't mess things up too much with her fancy hacking skills. Lena, catching wind of the conversation, couldn't resist chiming in with a roll of her eyes. Hey, I'll have you know I'm pretty darn good at this. But hey, if you've got a different strategy in mind, be my guest. Olivia rolled her eyes at Millie's attitude. She decided to deal with the girls later, because she knew she would need the full team to go against these attacks. As Adam strolled toward his classroom, he paused and observed Olivia. A warm smile crept onto his face, watching her steadfast determination in the face of those relentless rumors. He couldn't help but wonder, why her? It baffled him how someone could bear such a relentless vendetta. The mystery of the missing photo still tugged at Adam's mind. I'm certain I handed the picture to Bjorn. If Olivia's photo vanished, there should have been others lost as well. I guess it doesn't matter anymore. I'm happy she can still compete and her photo was found, he thought, his brow furrowing in perplexity. Just as Adam was about to enter the classroom, a voice broke his concentration. Adam, is Olivia in your class? The voice belonged to Mr. Boletto. Adam turned around, a perplexed expression on his face. Excuse me? He inquired, seeking clarification. Is Olivia in your class? Mr. Boletto repeated, with a slightly cryptic tone in his voice. Yes, she is, but why are you asking? Adam replied, still slightly puzzled. I'm conducting an inquiry into the campus model competition for the school, and I'd like to ask Olivia some questions. However, I'd also appreciate a conversation with you, Mr. Boletto explained, maintaining an air of mystery. Adam stood his ground, a hint of suspicion in his eyes. Why would you want to talk to either of us? He inquired, his tone growing a tad defensive. It's regarding the campus model competition. You delivered Olivia's photo, correct? Mr. Boletto questioned, making his intentions clear. Yes, I did. I took it to Bjorn on Monday morning, Adam answered, still feeling defensive. Are you absolutely certain that's what you did with the photo? Mr. Boletto probed further, raising an eyebrow. Adam's frustration mounted. What was Mr. Boletto implying? Of course, I'm sure I had no reason to do anything else. I would never jeopardize Olivia in such a way, Adam replied, his tone firm. Would you go to great lengths for Olivia? Mr. Bolletto asked, his eyes narrowing as he observed Adam, intrigued by his vehement defense. Continuing his line of inquiry, Mr. Bolletto suggested, "What if Olivia didn't want the photo to be seen? Perhaps he made copies for her to salvage her pride after her original plan backfired?" "Absolutely not. I can't believe you're accusing me of this. It's preposterous," Adam retorted, growing increasingly frustrated. Mr. Bolletto maintained his enigmatic demeanor and concluded, "It's merely intriguing that you played a part in Olivia's photo finding its way into the competition after it had been misplaced, Mr. Reed. That's all I'm saying. Olivia's photo is performing exceptionally well in the competition," Mr. Bolletto continued, his voice laced with condescension. "But I'm unsure if she's the deserving winner. I'd like to speak with her to get a better sense of her character." Adam couldn't stand idly by as Mr. Bolletto prepared to enter the classroom. With a sense of protectiveness and an air of determination, he moved to intercept the teacher, positioning himself in front of the door. "Mr. Bolletto, I can't allow you to go in there," Adam firmly stated, his eyes reflecting his resolve. With an air of casual indifference, Mr. Bolletto responded, "Oh, come now, Adam. I only wish to have a civil conversation with young Olivia." But Adam wasn't swayed. "I'm sorry, but I must stand up for my students," he replied, not giving an inch. Mr. Bolletto's tone grew slightly more condescending as he asserted, "Well, I've been assessing the participants in the campus model competition, and I'm not convinced that Olivia possesses the right attributes for such an endeavor. We need our students who represent both this school and charitable organizations to be upstanding people with untarnished reputations. I don't think we want a campus model who is steeped in a scandal and who isn't a role model, do we?" Adam's protective instinct flared, and he couldn't let that statement stand unchallenged. "With all due respect, Mr. Bolletto, I've known Olivia for quite some time, and she has shown exceptional character. I believe she's more than qualified to represent Marshall High as a campus model. In fact, forgive my skepticism," Adam continued, his tone unyielding, "but when the teacher overseeing the student council, which happens to be responsible for the campus model competition, questions a student's character, it raises some concerns." Adam's defense of Olivia was unwavering, but it seemed to trigger a reaction in Mr. Bolletto. He was in charge of the student council and the campus model competition, so he didn't appreciate Adam's accusations. With a hint of defensiveness, Mr. Bolletto responded, "I'll have you know, Adam, that I take my role quite seriously. There's no foul play involved here." Adam wasn't ready to let it go. "Well, I hope that's the case, but I'd still like to know more about your concerns regarding Olivia's character. We don't want any unjust disqualifications now, do we?" "Are you challenging me, Adam?" Mr. Bolletto asked with a glare. Adam didn't respond, but he continued to hold his ground. A tense silence hung in the air as Adam and Mr. Bolletto engaged in a fierce stare-off. Neither of them was willing to back down. As the standoff between Adam and Mr. Bolletto continued, a few teachers began to step out of their classrooms, curious about the commotion. They watched the two men with a mix of interest and concern, unsure of the situation, but aware that it was something out of the ordinary. Frustration etched deep lines on Mr. Bolletto's face. He stepped closer to Adam, his voice laced with an ominous tone. "Listen carefully, Mr. Reed. You may believe you're protecting your students, but I hold considerable influence in this school. Challenge me, and I can make your life very difficult." Before Adam could respond, Mr. Bolletto stomped away. A female teacher emerged from her classroom. She observed the confrontation with a quizzical expression, and then turned to Adam. "Why did you challenge Mr. Bolletto, Adam?" she asked, her voice tinged with concern. Adam hesitated for a moment before he replied, "I believe Mr. Bolletto's handling of the campus model competition is questionable at best. His students are running it, and there have been rumors about foul play. Olivia's character has been unfairly criticized, and I won't stand by and let that happen." The female teacher sighed and shook her head, her gaze filled with a mixture of sympathy and resignation. "You'll have Olivia as a student for another year. You'll have to deal with Mr. Boletto for the rest of your time here, and believe me, he'll make it a living hell or get you fired." Adam's worry deepened as he realized the magnitude of the battle he'd entered by challenging Mr. Boletto. But he couldn't back down now. Olivia's reputation and character were on the line, and he was determined to protect her, whatever the cost. As Adam contemplated the unsettling situation he'd found himself in, a worried student approached him with a troubled expression. "Mr. Reed?" the student said with a shaky voice. I need to talk to you." Adam turned his attention to the student, concerned about what could be causing such distress. "Of course," he replied, his voice gentle. "What's wrong?" The student took a deep breath before explaining. "Olivia's photos, they were originally selling like hotcakes, but now people are clamoring for refunds and it's causing chaos in the competition." Adam furrowed his brow in confusion. "How is that possible? Why would people want refunds?" The student produced his phone and showed Adam the newly created blog site filled with rumors about Olivia. "I think these rumors are causing people to return the photos," the student explained. "But it's not just that. Some people are buying and then returning the photos for no good reason, trying to stir up trouble for Olivia." Adam's eyes widened as he looked at the blog and took in the information. When he looked away from the phone, he saw Mr. Boletto standing down the hall, a self-satisfied smirk on his face. The pieces of the puzzle fell into place, and he began to understand that Mr. Boletto wanted Olivia to lose the competition, and now he probably wanted Adam to lose his job. As Adam maintained his gaze on Mr. Boletto, an unspoken challenge passing between them. He made it clear he wouldn't be easily intimidated. It was high time he took a stand with Olivia. Turning to the stunned student, he gave a wry smile and said, "Let's give everyone their refunds, and I'll take care of buying back the photos. I've had enough of this." The student's eyes widened, still processing the audacity of Adam's offer. "You're serious, Mr. Reed?" Adam leaned in with a smirk. "So serious." The female teacher who had offered her warnings before now approached Adam, concern etched on her face. She repeated her earlier caution. "Adam, you're hitching your wagon to a ticking time bomb. Be cautious. Your actions could blow up in your face." Adam replied with a twinkle in his eye. "I'm not afraid of a little explosion, especially if it's in the name of justice." The student was still skeptical. "Are you sure about this? It's a lot of money you'd be spending." Adam chuckled. "Well, I won't be buying yachts anytime soon, but I can afford it." The teacher added, "You're quite the knight in shining armor, Adam, but be prepared for the consequences." Adam's confidence remained unshaken as he declared, "I'll take that risk. Good students are worth it." As the commotion surrounding Olivia continued to grow, the Pell twins, Camilla and Cameron, leaned against the doorframe of a nearby classroom, their eyes keenly observing the high school drama surrounding Olivia. Students were buzzing with conversations about the rumors, seeking refunds for their photos, and sharing their opinions about the ongoing chaos. Camilla shot a mischievous grin at her brother and sighed, "You know, I'm almost starting to feel bad for Olivia." Cameron raised an eyebrow at her and signed back, "Are you getting soft?" Camilla couldn't help but chuckle at her brother's retort, shaking her head to dismiss the notion. She signed back, assuring him that her heart was far from soft. Still, she couldn't deny that the ongoing drama surrounding Olivia held a certain intrigue. "At this rate," she signed, "so many people are out for Olivia's head that we might not get to her first." Cameron signed to her, "That's not an option. We must follow through with our orders. But you know, maybe it could be fun. She seems like the kind who'd put up a good fight." The twins shared a dark laugh. Millie's heart raced as she witnessed the Pell twins sharing their ominous laugh. Their dark sense of humor, combined with what she had overheard, sent a shiver down her spine. It was like something out of a creepy movie. She knew they were up to no good, but now it was confirmed. As Camilla walked away from her brother, Millie decided it was time to step in, or at least give it a shot. Her limited signing abilities wouldn't be much help, but she had to try. Millie cautiously approached Cameron, her hands moving a little hesitantly as she tried to communicate. "Hey, I know what you guys are cooking up, and I suggest you keep your distance from Olivia," she signed, making an effort to appear more confident than she felt. Cameron responded with a smug, slow signing style that screamed arrogance. "Cooking up? You're imagining things, sweetheart," he taunted, a wicked grin playing on his lips. Millie's frustration grew as she struggled to convey her warning. "I've heard enough to know you're planning something bad for Olivia. You need to step off right now or you'll regret it." Cameron's response was more intimidating than she had anticipated. He clenched his fists and made a gesture that left no room for ambiguity about the threat he represented. Cameron's furious signing translated into chilling threats. "You better stay out of our business," he gestured, his movements sharp and confrontational. "Stop trying to protect Olivia. We have our ways of dealing with people who get in our way." Just as the situation seemed to teeter on the edge of a disaster, Camilla intervened, stepping in to protect her brother's victim. Since his accident, Cameron had an increasingly short fuse, and he could get angry in a split second. Cameron's anger wasn't your typical anger. It was deadly. Camilla glanced at Millie with a questioning look in her eyes. "What's going on here?" she asked, her tone calm and collected. Unable to find her voice, Millie remained silent, too frightened to respond. Camilla pulled Cameron away from the trembling Millie, knowing she would need to get Cameron's temper in check quickly if they wanted to continue flying under the radar. As the afternoon unfolded, the rumors about Olivia continued to swirl, reaching new heights of absurdity. The latest one, alleging that Olivia had abused stray dogs, ignited a storm of gossip throughout the school. Olivia and Lena huddled together in their classroom, surrounded by their concerned classmates. They overheard students discussing the dog abuse rumors, and Olivia couldn't help but check the blog someone devoted to rumors about her. She was getting really tired of these silly high school games as she read the comments, filled with accusations and condemnations. "They say I'm cruel to stray dogs," Olivia muttered, her frustration evident. She looked at the concerned faces of her friends and fellow students. "I can't believe this. People are so gullible." "It has to be Monica or Amber behind these rumors," Olivia thought, with a mix of frustration and determination. Olivia knew she had to be careful and strategic in her approach. She mentally began plotting her next moves, determined to get one step ahead of her enemies. "I'll have to gather evidence and expose them for what they truly are. And soon enough, one of them will pay," Olivia thought to herself. Lena offered her support. "Olivia, you know this is all nonsense, right? We don't believe any of it." Other classmates chimed in, expressing their disbelief in the rumors and voicing their concerns. They implored Olivia to do something about it. Olivia took a minute to step away from her peers. She walked to the door of the room and watched all the gossiping students. She tapped into some of their thoughts. "Those poor sweet puppies didn't deserve to be used like that. I bet she didn't even feed them. Ugh! Olivia sucks," a girl with braces thought. "Why would she do that to dogs? The cats are right there. I would have hated her less if it were cats," a baseball player thought. "I always knew Olivia was shady. No one can be that perfect. Of course she was up to something," thought a junior girl. Olivia moved away from the door and went back to the group. This rumor was working on everyone, and it worried her. Olivia took a deep breath to calm her racing thoughts. "I appreciate all your support, but reacting to these rumors will only give them more power. We need a better strategy," Olivia said as she went back to work with the group. Across the buzzing school, Amber was flanked by her two loyal assistants as she strode into the student council room. Her ego was inflated like a hot air balloon. She couldn't help but revel in the impressive turnout for the fundraising committee interviews. "Take that, Olivia," she thought smugly. "We'll thrive without you. There are new leaders in charge." During the interviews, Amber maintained her facade of confidence. But beneath the surface, a storm was brewing. She couldn't escape the fact that many of the students she interviewed were focused on the same thing. In one interview, a young girl inquired, "Is Olivia Johnson still the vice president of the fundraising committee like she was last year?" Amber clenched her teeth, trying to suppress her frustration. "No, she's no longer a part of the committee at all. That was last year." Another student sheepishly confessed, "Honestly, I wanted to hop on the fundraising committee bandwagon because I heard Olivia was a part of it. I thought it was like an honor." "Olivia, Olivia, Olivia." Amber's inner dialogue was positively fuming. That name just wouldn't leave her alone, no matter what she did. She continued with the interviews, clinging to her composure by a thread. After enduring a slew of Olivia references, one of Amber's sidekicks cautiously suggested, "Maybe we should let Olivia join in as a regular member. It might help us recruit more people." Amber shot daggers with her eyes. "Not in a million years," she spat. "We don't need her. We've got this. And we're going to show everybody we don't need Olivia to succeed." When the interviews wrapped up, Amber stormed out of the student council room, her blood boiling. She was determined to prove that they could soar without Olivia's shadow looming over them. Amber was so tired of hearing Olivia this and Olivia that all day long that she wanted to get rid of Olivia Johnson altogether once and for all. "I'd be happy if I never had to hear that little witch's name ever again," she thought. "Can't we get her expelled?" Amber growled at her two friends, if one could even call two freshmen who were assigned to help her pick the committee members friends. "I want Olivia out of here now," Amber grumbled. "She's nothing but a thorn in my side. We have to strike immediately." "We need to be patient, Amber," one of her assistants said. "I've actually heard a lot of stories about people who have crossed Olivia, and it didn't work out well for them. Remember Pamela Cox?" "It's true," the other freshman assistant joined in. "Even with her social standing taking a hit at Marshall High lately, Olivia still has plenty of friends and supporters. Not to mention she's powerful in her own right. If we try to get rid of her too soon, it could be bad news for all of us." "Besides," the first assistant piped up, "we still have students joining our fundraising committee simply because they think Olivia will be involved. Being a successful business owner at her age with a reasonably good social standing is a big draw. We should wait to act until our recruitment phase is over, for our own benefit." Amber thought this over, cooling down slightly. As much as she hated to admit it, her cronies were right. Olivia was going to put up a good fight, so they would need to weaken her social standing and connections even further if they were going to have a chance of getting rid of her. "All right," Amber conceded. "We'll play the long game. We will let people think she's a member of the fundraising committee for now. But we should use some of these new Olivia rumors to our advantage in the meantime." Amber's two cronies nodded their heads in agreement. Then, Amber added in a low voice devoid of all emotion, "And when the time is right, we'll make Olivia Johnson wish she was dead." Later in the week, Olivia was walking through the hallways of Marshall High and felt a cool air around her. It was as if something had shifted overnight. She noticed students by lockers speaking in hushed tones as she walked by. People who would normally wave or say hi were averting their eyes when they saw her. Listening in on various students' thoughts, Olivia heard a smattering of, "There she is. I can't believe how heartless that girl turned out to be. And what a disgusting monster. Why hasn't she been expelled yet?" Olivia furrowed her brow. Could they all be talking and thinking about her? What had she done that was so terrible? Even a confident young woman like Olivia couldn't help but lower her head in fear and shame as she made her way down the hall. Finally, Olivia lit up when she saw a friendly face by the water fountain. "Millie!" Olivia called out. "Boy, am I glad to see you." Millie almost choked when she saw Olivia. She wiped the water off her mouth with her sleeve and rushed over to her, pulling Olivia into a stairwell to talk privately. "Olivia, are you all right?" Millie asked, worried. "Of course, why wouldn't I be?" said Olivia, searching Millie's face. Whatever had the student population of Marshall in a tizzy, Millie knew about it. Millie fidgeted nervously for a moment. "So I guess you hadn't seen it then?" Olivia blinked in disbelief. "Seen what?" she asked. Millie took a deep breath in, unsure whether to tell her or not. She finally decided it would be best to just let it all out in the open. Olivia was bound to find out eventually. Better if it were from a friend. "Check the newer posts on that blog someone created about you," Millie told her cautiously. Olivia took out her phone and began swiping through various blog posts. It wasn't long before she found post after post of new vicious rumors about her. Someone had posted photos of wounded animals, claiming Olivia was adopting stray cats and dogs, pretending to be a charitable person, only to brutally torture them to death. The gossip had caught on like wildfire. Photos and posts were being reblogged and shared by dozens of Marshall school students on their own social media platforms, until almost everyone in the school had heard about it. Olivia's face was white as a sheet. Why would someone do this? And then why would anyone believe it? She would never hurt an animal, even if there was a gun to her head. "I didn't believe it for a second," Millie assured her. "I know this is all just a smear campaign." "Thank you for showing me this, Millie," Olivia said. She hated this was happening to her, but was glad to at least have all the information. "What are we going to do?" Millie asked, ready for a fight. Olivia smiled. Millie really had become such a good friend. She was so glad she had taken the chance to get to know her in this life. "Let's just get to class for now," Olivia said. "We can regroup and come up with a plan with everyone." Standing in front of what should have been her desk, Olivia held her nose in disgust. "What is that? Smells like something died in there," Steve Shook said. Olivia cautiously opened the desk in front of her gathered friends, Millie, Steve, Lena, and Francis, to see what the damage was. All of them coughed and gagged as a wave of smell emanated from the open desk. Someone had stuffed it to the brim with wet garbage. Rotten meat, old molded fruit, gunky coffee filters, and worse filled her school desk. The entire room reeked of decay and grim. A few of Olivia's friends opened their desks to find theirs filled as well. "Damn it," Francis said, choking on the smell. "Who did this? I swear to God, I'll kill them with my bare hands." "You and me both," Steve added. The entire classroom erupted in anger. It was clear to many of them there that Olivia was the target of some extreme bullying. "Who's the bastard who did this?" yelled a student. "Must be someone from the student council," another classmate foisted. Still, there were some kids who assumed Olivia deserved it. "I saw the pictures. Clearly, this is someone delivering justice." It was a total uproar of people slinging blame. The smell had gotten to everyone's heads. Olivia slammed the desk shut, trying to bring them all to attention. "Stop right there," she scolded. "If you have that much energy, the least you can do is put it towards helping me clean this mess up." It was no use, though. They were already riled up. "Who posted those pictures?" Steve demanded. "I'll find who they are. I'll get to the bottom of this." "The student council is meeting right next door," said Francis. "We should go get them." Some students had already begun rushing out of the room to the next classroom. Steve and Francis followed in anger. The sound of a door being flung open and various curses and shouting could be heard next door. "Liv, what should we do?" Millie asked, worried. "I'm thinking about it," Olivia said, slightly narrowing her eyes. What were supposed to do with all this trash? She had the feeling that even if they cleaned it, the unpleasant smell would linger. No one would want to sit there and attend class like that. "Olivia, I think we need to fight back, said Millie. Can you really put up with this forever? There's nothing I can put up with. Sometimes going the high road is the best option, Olivia said evenly. Plus, it makes your enemies go insane. Millie nodded. For right now, let's deal with this, Olivia said. Go find Principal Yan, tell him we need a new set of tables and chairs. Millie rushed out to do as she was told, just as some of the classmates returned to the room. Everyone looked mostly fine, but dour. It was only Francis and Steve that came back looking more disheveled than they had before. What happened to you? Olivia asked, worried. We went to get an explanation, and some twerps started getting in our faces, Francis told her. They were ridiculous, Steve added. We were going to fight back, but we thought it might not be a good look for you, Olivia, so we got out of there. Does it hurt? Olivia asked, frowning slightly. The two of them shook their heads, their pride more bruised than their bodies. Don't worry, said Olivia with a flash of hatred in her eyes. I'll make them pay. Steve and Francis chuckled grimly. They had no doubt Olivia would get revenge on their behalf. Now let's deal with this, Olivia said, pointing to the garbage. It's almost time for class, and the teacher will be here soon. The class pitched together, dumping the muck into trash bags, wiping up the floor and cleaning as best they could. The gunk had spilled onto many of the surrounding desks, so it all had to be cleaned. Not long after, Millie returned with several sets of desks and chairs, which the group worked together to swap out. A female student spritzed an elegant lemon and mint perfume in the room, which masked some of the smell, but a trace of it remained. New blog posts continued to appear throughout the day. In them, the anonymous blog creator praised the troublemaker students who roughed up Steve and Francis earlier, touting them as heroes, while Steve and Francis themselves were being accused of defending an animal abuser. Some of Olivia's classmates argued in the comments that this was a blatant fabrication. The entire school seemed to be torn on what was the truth. Things only got worse during lunch in the cafeteria. Someone tripped Millie, calling her a clumsy cow, and intentionally spilled hot chicken noodle soup on her shoes. It was so hot Millie winced, but she kept her composure. She turned around to see who did it, and was met with a crowd of despising eyes. On the other side of the cafeteria, Lena was knocked off her chair while she was eating, and the plate in her hand fell on her face. The cafeteria erupted in laughter, causing her to turn red in embarrassment and fury. Even the janitor who cleaned up the mess glared at Lena disapprovingly. Olivia had it even worse. Every time she tried to order lunch, someone would snatch it away or knock her tray out of her hands maliciously. After buying her third lunch, someone purposely spilled chocolate milk down Olivia's back. That's it, said Steve Shook angrily, grabbing the bully by the collar. He was just about to punch him when Francis grabbed Steve's arm, stopping him. Don't give Olivia any trouble, he said. Steve gritted his teeth and let go of the kid. Olivia scanned the room, surrounded by enemies. She and her friends had become entirely isolated, targeted from all around. She had gone back in time to start over and live a better life than she did before. But this was a new low even for her previous life. Olivia's kill list was getting longer and longer by the minute. Little did she or her friends know, someone was filming secretly. They were about to post the entire embarrassing encounter for the whole world to see. Someone had filmed Olivia and her group's entire embarrassing lunch experience, and it wasn't long until the whole encounter was posted online. The video had been reposted hundreds of times, some of them with ridiculous filters and sound effects on them to make Olivia and her friends look even worse. Olivia had become a social pariah in the halls of Marshall, along with anyone associated with her. Some people shared the video, commenting that this was some form of justice for Olivia's supposed animal abuse. Other students in the comment section pointed out this was no different from bullying, scolding the entire thing whether it was deserved or not. It seemed like no one could agree on what the story was. Soon, this negative energy and bickering permeated through the entire Marshall High. A thick air of distrust and anger was in every classroom. Even the teachers had begun taking notice. Class attention was at an all-time low, and many students' grades were dropping as a result. Adam did his best to mediate the feelings amongst the class, but it didn't seem to do any good. People started posting rumors about him as well on social media. This was an extremely sore subject for him, since he used to be ruthlessly bullied in high school as a teenager. Part of why he became a teacher was to help make sure no student ever felt the way he did growing up. He couldn't help but feel like he was letting his students down, but this was way beyond him. The school bell rang at the end of a particularly nasty day, dismissing the students for the afternoon. Olivia sighed, looking forward to curling up in bed with her beloved dog Polly and forgetting about the horrible day. "Son of a bitch," Francis said, repeatedly trying to shove the classroom door open. But try as he might, it wouldn't budge. "Language, Francis," Adam scolded. "What seems to be the problem?" "I'm sorry, sir," Francis apologized, "but someone's messing with us again." From the laughter outside the door and sneering faces peering in through the window, Adam knew it was true. It appeared some students had blockaded the classroom door with various pieces of furniture, trapping Olivia and her class inside. When did this school turn into such a zoo? Adam muttered under his breath. Adam got up from his desk and stormed over to the entrance. He banged on the door forcefully. "All right, that's enough," Adam commanded. "These pranks have gone way too far. Get out of the way or it's detention for all of you for a month." The students outside continued to laugh and jeer. Adam raised his voice even louder. "That's it. I'm calling Principal Yan." The troublemakers scattered down the hallway in various directions. Eventually, some kids moved enough furniture out of the way that Adam and Steve were able to push through the door, and the trapped students could leave. "Don't worry, kids," Adam said. "I'm going to handle this myself. They won't be bothering us anymore." Adam looked at Olivia specifically when he said this. He knew she was getting the worst of it, and for no good reason. He nodded his head and left down the hallway. "A lot of good that'll do," said Millie. "He's trying his best," Olivia responded. After most of the class dispersed, in walked Amber, followed by her two assistants from the fundraising committee. Olivia, Steve, and Millie all shot nasty looks at her, too disgusted to say anything. "What? No warm welcome? Not even a hello?" Amber teased, grinning ear to ear. She really was despicable. "Just hurry up and say what you're here to say," Millie snapped. Her patience was completely worn out at that point. "So harsh, Millie. What's with all the attitude?" said Amber devishly. She didn't need to go so low as to physically bully this group the way so many students did. Amber had other people doing that for her now. Who would have thought that perfect Princess Olivia would sink so low? Amber thought. She used to have people doting on her, waiting on her every word. She had this godlike existence. Look how all that came crashing down. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. It took everything in Olivia's power not to crush Amber's skull with her powers right then and there. It would be so satisfying to pop her like a blood-filled tick. Olivia didn't want to emotionally scar Millie for life, though. That didn't mean she couldn't have a little fun. "Amber, if I were you, I would quickly finish whatever it is you came here to say and get out of our faces," Olivia said with a hint of a smile. "Can you see none of us are in the mood to play games?" Amber's eyes traced around the faces in the room. It was true. Everyone left in the classroom looked like they wanted to kill her. They had been victims of relentless teasing, bullying, and pranks for weeks now, and it all seemed to be Amber pulling the strings. "Oh, I see how it is," Amber said coldly. "And what are you going to do about it? Beat me up like you did those innocent animals?" Millie took her earrings out, ready to pounce, but Olivia put an arm out, holding her back. Olivia looked at her for a long moment, as if to say, "Don't do anything stupid." "I will give you 5 minutes to speak," Olivia said, raising her wrist to look at her watch. 5 minutes? Amber scoffed. What happens after 5 minutes? If you're not out of this classroom in that time, Olivia said, you'll leave it in a stretcher. These threatening words caused a shift in Amber's expression. She bit her teeth and shouted, Don't be so stupid, Olivia. You wouldn't dare. Try me, said Olivia, watching the second hand tick away. You still think you're some hot little thing, huh? Amber scowled. You have no power anymore. The fundraising committee is already in the process of forming without you. You're a laughingstock. Everyone hates you. If you say so, said Olivia, curling her lips, trying not to let these words get to her, though they reminded her of her last life, and she had to steel herself against the memories of her past. You're no longer worthy of your old class president title, and everyone knows you cheated in the campus model contest this year. You may have had a good year last year, but you're a monster, said Amber, starting to sweat a bit. And monsters can't hide their true colors for long. Sure, if you say so, Olivia replied coolly, though part of her, a tiny part, was worried. What if her luck had run out? Olivia looked shaky suddenly. Amber shifted in her shoes, uncomfortable. Was Olivia really about to do something rash right now, in front of all these people? Fine, Amber spat out finally. Because the fundraising committee is all about generosity and I'm actually a nice person, I'll let you stay on board as an honorary member if you really want, but just an honorary member. Amber knew that if people thought Olivia was a member, they were more likely to clamor to sign up and join anyway. Screw you, one of Olivia's friends in the back of the room shouted, unable to hold it in anymore. You're just a bully. Before Amber could react, Lena tossed half a bottle of mineral water, hitting Amber right in the shoulder. Ow! Amber screamed. Who threw that? Several people laughed under their breath. Are you all right, Amber? One of her secretaries asked, coming to her aid. No, I'm not all right, you idiot, Amber screeched. You two are supposed to protect me. Get lost. Get out of our class, Steve Shook said, slamming the table. Other students began joining in agreement. Amber was shocked by this development. This wasn't how this was supposed to go. Go screw yourself. Like I'm going to listen to any of you trash, Amber replied. Get out of here, go. You're a monster, the others scolded angrily. Not long after, more bottles of soda and wads of trash were being chucked at Amber and her minions. Olivia laughed while watching Amber cover her face and scream in terror. She felt a slight tingle in her chest. Then, as one of the bottles of soda was being flung her way, Olivia cleverly used her powers to loosen the cap, causing lukewarm soda to spill out all over Amber, ruining her blouse. It was a small but effective blow to Amber. Next time, Olivia thought, I won't be so nice. When there are fewer people around, I'll plan something even worse for you. Ugh, Amber bellowed. All right, which one of you twerps did that? I'm gonna... 4 minutes and 57 seconds, teased Olivia, looking at the time on her watch. Amber froze stiff, unsure of what Olivia might be capable of. In a panic, she bounded out of the room in fear, followed by her two assistants. This isn't over, she yelled from down the hall. Not by a long shot. The remaining students in the classroom erupted in applause and laughter, glad to be rid of Amber temporarily. You were so terrifying back there, Olivia, said Millie. What were you going to do if she reached 5 minutes? Olivia shrugged. No idea. I knew she would break before time ran out. I just wanted to see her run off scared. Millie chuckled, patting Olivia on the back. Olivia, we can't keep lying back and taking this abuse, Steve said, breaking up the joyful moment. She formed the entire fundraising club under the false assumption that you'd be a part of it. And now she's dragging you and the rest of us through the dirt. When are we going to do something about it? Lena demanded, her face turning red. Olivia agreed this was too far, and the high road wasn't doing any good. Now, we act right away, Olivia said. Zach, have you been able to hack that stupid anonymous blog yet to see who's behind it? How's that coming? Almost there, I think. Zach Polston nodded. I'll let you know what I find. Excellent. The rest of you, I want you to stay angry. Olivia smiled as she looked at them. Remember this anger that you're feeling right now and hold on to it. Feel it in your stomach, in your bones. We've been through a lot, and we've tried playing nice. That time is over. I understand if you'd rather continue as if nothing is wrong. I'm not saying anyone has to join me, but if you don't, nothing will change. The group murmured in agreement, all of them transfixed by Olivia's speech. As long as we stick together and work as a team, we can walk down these halls with our heads held high. We will beat this. We'll make sure nobody bullies us, trips us, steals your lunch, or calls us names ever again. After a long period of being emotionally beaten down by their fellow students, everyone in that room finally had hope that things would get better. What are we going to do? Someone asked. It was the question on everyone's mind. They've waited too long in the shadows doing nothing. Olivia's lips curled up devilishly. She looked around at the faces of everyone waiting so intently. It wasn't a large team, but it was a mighty one. It was a team that would fight with Olivia to the ends of Earth. After a long pause, Olivia finally answered, "We fight back." On the other side of the school, Amber, drenched in soda, was complaining about the horrible bullying she had just endured to the student council. "It was all Olivia Johnson," she cried. "She was the ringleader of the whole thing." Bjorn Jorgensen's eyes were gloomy hearing this. After a long while, he nodded, making a decision. In order to protect the peace of the school, the student council has no choice but to use our authority to apply for and recommend Olivia's dismissal from school. Amber's eyes lit up. Is that tramp really going to be suspended or expelled or something? She thought. Well, when we show them the evidence we have, what other choice will the school have but to expel her? Bjorn nodded. We should take photos of Amber as evidence too, Monica suggested giddily. She had been talking to Bjorn in secret over the past few days, and now found herself in the middle of the student council at the exact perfect moment. How serendipitous, she thought. We can send it all to the principal so he can see how terrible Olivia is. She offered happily. Amber liked the idea of playing the victim. Okay, she said. Yes, show him what she did to me. And show him all the other rumors and stuff too. That's a great idea. Monica was radiating excitement as she snapped photos of Amber looking wet and messy, her eyes slightly red from forcing herself to cry. She looked pitiful. The photo of Amber was quickly taken, edited, and sent along with an email stating Olivia needed to be expelled from Marshall School. Then the photo was posted online, so even the students knew about what Liv had done to poor Amber. Finally, Monica smirked. That bitch is getting what's coming to her. Back in Olivia's classroom, which she had now practically converted into a war room, Olivia assumed control of the situation with a mischievous glint in her eyes. Her voice carried an air of confidence as she issued out orders. Zach, my digital ninja, Olivia began, a playful glint in her eye. Help me work some magic on that stupid blog tonight. Lock down those posts so they can't be deleted by anyone, especially the school. Zach gave her a cheeky salute. Consider it done, Your Hacking Highness. Turning to Lena, who was barely containing her excitement, Olivia said, Lena, our brilliant investigator, it's time to unveil the mastermind behind the chaos. Find the IP address of the ringleader making all the noise tonight. Uncover their real name and, for good measure, snoop around for their class info. Lena cracked a sly grin. Consider it a digital manhunt, Liv. I'm on it. Francis, with an eager spark in his eye, awaited her instructions. Olivia turned to him with a mischievous glimmer in her own. Francis, my creative genius. Time to create some blackmail material. Can you make a high-definition video focusing particularly on Amber's expressive face? I've got plans for that footage next week. Frances shared Olivia's devious grin. Consider it done. Finally, Olivia addressed Sam with a smirk on her face. Sam, the smooth talker, you've got the task of crafting our perfect PR post. I'll need it done before the clock strikes 10. Sam replied confidently. Leave it to me, Liv. I'll make it so persuasive they'll think they're reading Shakespeare. Turning to Millie, Olivia knew she could trust her friend with the critical task of keeping her father, the principal, out of the storm that was brewing. She looked at Millie and sighed with a mix of relief and gratitude. Millie, your dad? You've got to keep him busy so he stays out of this mess. We can't have the principal falling for Amber's act. Millie nodded with a sly smile. Don't worry, Liv. I'll keep my dad on a tight leash. He won't ruin our grand plan. Olivia then addressed the whole room with a mix of determination and witty wisdom, her tone slightly catty. We're all mad as hell and ready to sting, especially when it comes to Amber and her minions. But remember, folks, emotions don't lead the way in this circus. Our strategy does. So let's not turn this into a soap opera. Now, to battle. Everyone nodded as they went to work. In the back of the classroom, Camilla and Cameron observed Olivia huddling and whispering to her friends, their expressions a mixture of intrigue and curiosity. Camilla, discreetly signing to her brother, couldn't help but convey her fascination with Olivia's leadership and presence. Camilla sighed to Cameron. I don't know what it is about her, but I'm utterly fascinated. Cameron, always the more suspicious of the two, scrutinized his sister's expression and responded with a questioning sign, seeking clarification on her feelings. What do you mean? He asked. Camilla, signing with grace, continued her explanation. It's her charisma, Cam. People are drawn to her like moths to a flame. Plus, let's not ignore the obvious. She's absolutely gorgeous. With a playful grin, Camilla leaned in and sighed. You can't tell me you haven't noticed her beauty. Cameron raised an eyebrow, his suspicion deepening, and he sighed back with a hint of skepticism. Notice her beauty? Camilla didn't hesitate, responding with a playful, yes, just look at her. Cameron shook his head, still focused on his mission, and signed to Camilla. I see a target, that's all. Camilla couldn't resist teasing her brother as she signed. You're just in denial. Cameron, the ever-stoic one, decided to tease his sister and signed. Fancy her, do you? Just as Camilla was about to reply, she caught Millie glancing in their direction. She quickly signed to Cameron. Millie was looking at you. Camilla and Cameron watched as Millie's eyes darted to them every few minutes. It was clear she didn't trust them. Cameron looked at Millie and arched an eyebrow. As Cameron caught Millie's eyes darting in their direction, frustration welled up inside him. It seemed that Millie's earlier suspicions had only intensified, which wasn't good for them or their mission. Noticing her brother's growing frustration, Camilla quickly signed her concern. I'm worried that your little threat earlier might have Millie snooping around more. That's not good. Cameron nodded, his brows furrowing with annoyance. You're right, he signed back. I messed up by being so heavy-handed. Millie poking around is the last thing we need. Camilla's face remained filled with determination as she signed. We've got to come up with a way to steer her off our trail and focus on the mission. Cameron considered the options and signed with a hint of dark humor. Why not just eliminate the problem? Camilla looked at her brother, aghast and sighed. Killing Millie, are you serious? Cameron raised an eyebrow and signed with a sardonic smile. Why not? It would solve our issue. Camilla shot him a stern, disapproving look and signed. Killing Millie was never a part of our orders, Cameron. We can't afford to lose focus on our mission. With a wry grin, Cameron teased, Is it the mission you're focused on, or is it Olivia? Camilla blushed slightly, but regained her composure. She signed firmly. Our mission, Cameron. Let's not lose sight of it or why we're here. Cameron nodded, although his eyes still questioned Camilla. As Camilla's eyes darted to Olivia, a peculiar mix of emotions churned within her. She couldn't help but think, what superpower does this girl have? I've never been so... Ugh. Camilla's brow furrowed as she quickly dismissed her momentary lapse of focus. Shaking her head inwardly, she reminded herself, forget it, she's a target, just a target. Olivia and her friends continued their preparations until the bell rang, signaling the end of the school day. With determination in her eyes, Olivia rallied her group of friends. Stay calm, stay focused. Sam, remember to get me that press release tonight? We're going to take down student council and everyone behind this, mark my words. As the classroom emptied out, Olivia, Millie, and Lena stepped into the hallway, only to be greeted by a disheartening sight. There, plastered all over the walls, were disgusting images of Olivia. Devil horns adorned her head, and the words, dog torturer, were scrawled below. Fury welled up in Lena as she moved to tear down one of the posters. But Olivia quickly halted her friend. No, leave them there, Olivia said. Lena nodded at Olivia's orders, her brows furrowed in concern. Liv, we can't just let this slide. Why would they stoop so low? Millie shook her head, her lips curved into a frown. People can be so ruthless when they're jealous or want to bring others down, but we won't let them live. Millie continued with a mischievous grin. And when we catch them, Liv, we'll make sure they regret messing with you. Lena added, You bet. We're in this together, Liv. Olivia felt a rush of gratitude for her friends. Thank you, guys. We'll get through this, but for now we have to be strategic. Let's focus on finding those shady bitches through the security cameras. The next morning, the school was abuzz with rumors and whispers. Olivia was noticeably absent, so students huddled in small groups, sharing their speculations as to why. I heard the student council ran Olivia Johnson out of town, one student whispered. Nah, I heard she's planning to leave the country. Man, it's an entire international operation. Another countered. Basically, she's afraid to ever show her face here again, they're saying. Her family is super embarrassed. No, I heard she was sent to the hospital. The sheer weight of her popularity drove her insane. A third chimed in. A murmur of concern and curiosity swept through the hallways as Lena, Millie, Zach, Sam, and the rest of Olivia's loyal team pushed through the gossiping crowd. They were on a mission to make sure Olivia's name was cleared. Lena couldn't help but feel a sense of pride as she said, I managed to hack the website and stop those nasty comments, even tracked the IP address. Zach nodded in approval. Nice work. Zach looked around the group and asked, Where is Olivia? The team looked around to see if Olivia was lost in the sea of students. Sam, equally baffled, said, Yeah, this is weird. Where could she be? Lena looked at Millie and said, Maybe she's running late? Millie, have you heard anything? As the group searched for Olivia, Millie's phone chimed, and she pulled it out to read a text notification. Her eyes widened as she read the message. Guys, Olivia's on a live stream. She's doing a press conference with her dad about the official relaunch of Confluence Technology as their company. Instantly, Millie knew they had to share this with everyone. She told her friends, Pull out your phones, let's get everyone to watch this. In a matter of seconds, the hallways filled with the glow of phone screens as students tuned in to Olivia's press conference. Lena's eyes widened with disbelief. I can't believe Olivia would go live on a press conference without telling us. Millie, as always, was quick to see the bigger picture. This has got to be part of her plan. She's got something up her sleeve. Across town, Michael's large office, with its stunning panoramic view of the city, served as the perfect backdrop for Olivia and her father Michael during their interview with a reporter from the New York Times. The poised reporter addressed them with a hint of admiration. Mr. Johnson, Miss Johnson, it's a delight to have you both here today. Your story, the dynamic father and daughter duo behind Confluence, the rising gaming company, has certainly captured our readers' imaginations. Olivia, her eyes sparkling with confidence, greeted the reporter with a warm smile. "Thank you, we're thrilled to be here." The reporter leaned in, her curiosity evident. "Olivia, you're leading a gaming company at such a young age, and that's incredibly impressive. Do you ever feel the pressure that comes with such responsibility?" Olivia's smile broadened and she cast a sideways glance at Michael. "Pressure? Oh, absolutely. But I'm fortunate to have the support of an incredible team. They've been my backbone through this journey. Without them, I'd probably be buried in a mountain of textbooks right now. And of course, I've had some fantastic teachers and friends who've been invaluable, especially my dad," she said with a hint of a smile in her tone, acknowledging Michael's integral role. The reporter, genuinely touched by their familial connection, turned her attention to Michael. "Mr. Johnson, your transition from CEO at Johnson's Food Corporation to CEO at Confluence has raised a few eyebrows. Could you tell us more about what led this career change?" With a confident nod, Michael spoke with determination. "It was indeed a challenging decision to leave a company where I've spent decades in the food and beverage industry. But sometimes you need a fresh adventure, a new challenge. My daughter's passion and vision for Confluence convinced me that this was a journey worth embarking on together. And it's been a thrilling ride so far." As the reporter prepared to ask her next question, Olivia couldn't resist flashing a dazzling, triumphant smile directly into the camera. It was her way of telling all her peers, especially those who tried to undermine her, that they had no idea of what she had planned. As Olivia gazed into the camera lens, she thought, "Karma's a bitch, but she's no match for me." The sun beamed through Michael's office windows as a reporter from the New York Times turned to Olivia and her dad. "Miss Johnson and Mr. Johnson, now that you're officially in the gaming business, how's it feeling for both of you?" Michael's face lit up with pride as he spoke. "Olivia is the mastermind and the true leader here. I'm just glad I can be there to support her. It's a fantastic experience." Olivia's eyes sparkled as she smiled, adding, "It's incredibly exciting. The gaming industry is fast-paced and dynamic, and we're thrilled to make our mark. My team and I have put our hearts into this project. We believe it's going to be a game changer. Having my dad as the CEO is a big plus because I can trust him completely. We're looking forward to creating innovative and thrilling game experiences for players all over the world." The reporter grinned and said, "Now let's open this up to the press. Any questions for this duo?" A reporter from New York City Daily News introduced himself and turned to Olivia. "Miss Johnson, with your focus on your gaming career, how do you think it'll affect your studies at Marshall School? We've heard it's quite challenging academically." Olivia, with a poised smile, responded, "Marshall School has a tough curriculum, and student activities can be demanding. But I've always done well academically. In fact, school often feels a bit too easy and I get bored. The gaming industry keeps me engaged and helps me learn practical skills beyond textbooks. Balancing gaming and school may seem tough, but I think it'll boost my future." Another press reporter brought up the photo by Danny Wilson, and Olivia answered warmly, "Working with Danny was a delight, and I'm thrilled with how the photo turned out. It's currently doing well in a campus model competition at my school." As Olivia spoke, Polly, her adorable dog, strolled into the interview, captivating everyone with her cuteness as she rested her head on Olivia's lap. Olivia's heart swelled as she thought, "Just one more piece of my perfect plan." The reporter couldn't help but smile at the charming interruption and the heartwarming bond between Olivia and Polly. Polly's wagging tail filled the room with a chorus of "awws." Recognizing the room's adoration for Polly, the reporter inquired, "How do you feel about dogs? I'm guessing you're quite the dog lover." With a warm smile, Olivia replied, "I absolutely adore dogs. They're loyal, loving, and simply incredible companions. Polly here," Olivia continued, scratching behind Polly's ears, "is my partner in crime, my confidant, and the source of boundless joy. I'd do anything for her, and for any dog in need." The reporter couldn't contain her admiration for the heartwarming scene. "It's clear that Polly adores you too," she remarked, watching Polly's tail wag happily. "Olivia, you've shown your incredible talent not only in the gaming industry, but also in your bond with our furry friends. You're an exceptional teenager with a kind heart and a bright future." The interview concluded on a positive note, and Olivia gave the camera a confident wink, knowing her plan had worked. Olivia thought, "Take that, Amber." Once the interview wrapped up, Olivia and Michael found themselves in the lobby of the building, where the press was eager to capture every moment with a flurry of photographs. But Victoria's unexpected arrival caught them all by surprise. As Victoria entered the bustling lobby, she was taken aback by the swarm of photographers and the intense media coverage. She hadn't seen this coming, and the sight of Olivia and Michael basking in the spotlight left her feeling awkward and exposed. Desperate to avoid any unwanted attention, Victoria subtly tried to hide her face as she navigated through the lobby. She hoped to slip by unnoticed, silently praying that her presence wouldn't be discovered. But her attempts to fly under the radar were in vain. A persistent press photographer who had clearly recognized her called out, "Mrs. Johnson, can we get a photo with you and your family?" Victoria's heart skipped a beat as she froze in her tracks, her face turning pale. Her worst fears had come true, and she had been caught off guard. "Oh no," she thought, anxiously pondering her next steps. Victoria and Michael locked eyes as they waited for her answer. Michael softly smiled at Victoria, hoping it would encourage her to join them. Instead, Victoria said, "No, thank you. I'm really busy. I should get to work." Michael watched Victoria walk away. He was clearly disappointed, but understood why Victoria kept her distance. Michael quickly covered his heartache and smiled as Polly joined the pictures. After the photos were taken, Michael got on the elevator and was surprised to find Victoria there. As the elevator doors closed, Michael faced Victoria, eager yet unsure about how to break the ice between them. "Victoria, it's been quite some time. How have you been?" he asked, concern etched in his voice. Victoria, feeling the weight of recent events and rumors, was caught off guard by Michael's question. Annoyance flashed across her face, but she couldn't resist a touch of sarcasm in her response. "Oh, just fabulous," she quipped, her voice dripping with irony. "I've been living the dream, hearing all those heartwarming stories about the rich boy who fell for the girl from the other side of the tracks, only to have their lives torn apart by the media. Now, years later, he's back, desperately seeking her love once more. So how do you think I'm doing?" Michael's concern deepened as he saw the impact that the rumors and media attention were having on Victoria. He sighed and tried to explain. "Victoria, I'm truly sorry about all of this. It wasn't what I intended, and I never wanted you to get caught up in the chaos." Victoria listened to his apology, her eyes reflecting a mix of emotions. Annoyance was still there, but so was a hint of understanding. "I appreciate your apology, Michael," she said, her tone still chilly but laced with empathy. "Actions speak louder than words, though. Right now, I need some space to figure out how to navigate through all of this. Let me handle it on my own for a while." She adjusted her blazer and then looked forward. As the elevator continued its ascent, they both knew that there was much to resolve, but it was a start. The next day at school, as students gathered and chatted in the hallways, a buzz of curiosity and confusion swept through the crowd. Pictures of Olivia and her beloved dog, Polly, had mysteriously appeared on the blog site, contradicting the earlier rumors about her tormenting dogs. Whispers filled the air as students examined the images, expressions of doubt on their faces. They questioned one another. "I thought she was supposed to hate dogs," asked a sophomore in a band uniform. Didn't that blog claim she got rid of this dog? Inquired a junior with a backpack slung over one shoulder. Another student, a girl that looked like a typical cheerleader, chimed in. She certainly doesn't look like someone who would torture dogs. A wide-eyed freshman with a pinch of sarcasm couldn't resist. I'm calling it now, folks. Polly for school mascot. She's got the charm, the charisma, and those puppy dog eyes. She's got my vote. As laughter filled the hallways, the absurdity of the situation lightened the mood, and it seemed, if only for a moment, that the heavy rumors that had plagued Olivia's reputation had been forgotten. Bjorn stood in the student council activity room, fuming as he scrolled through the blogs and read the comments in support of Olivia. How did she get them back on her side so quickly? People are on the blogs in full support of her. This is ridiculous. He grumbled to his cousin Olga, who sat at a desk across from him, engrossed in her phone and also browsing the blog sites. I told you, taking Olivia down wouldn't be easy. Olga replied casually, not looking up from her phone. Bjorn, his frustration mounting, retorted, We've been attacking her relentlessly for the past week. I thought she would at least stop being popular because of it. Now she's more popular than ever. Olga finally put her phone down and adopted a serious tone as she addressed her cousin. Bjorn, it's clear that your current tactics aren't working. We need to change our approach. We should attack Olivia on something she can't change or easily get out of. Bjorn raised an eyebrow, intrigued by Olga's suggestion. Like what? He asked, curious about her new plan. Olga walked over to Bjorn, her eyes gleaming with mischief, and began her explanation. Bjorn, you've got to see it. Olivia's rolling in cash, one of those silver spoon types. She's got more money than most people could ever dream of. She's living in a different universe, and she can't even comprehend our struggles. She's basically a spoiled little princess, and she's never going to change that because, well, why would she? We just need to make everyone see the truth. With a mischievous grin, Olga grabbed Bjorn's phone, and her fingers danced across the screen as she crafted a blog post that was sharp as a knife. She handed the phone back, saying, Have you ever had to work for something? Because Olivia sure hasn't. Her life's been a free ride, handed everything on a silver platter. She probably buys her way through school like it's some kind of shopping spree. It's high time people knew. She leaned in, her voice a sly whisper. Let's face it, everyone loves to hate the ultra-rich, especially when they're acting like entitled brats. Bjorn looked at Olga and wondered if this plan would work to finally bring Olivia down. As Bjorn questioned Olga's plan across the school, Monica stared at her phone screen, bewilderment and frustration welling up inside her. Where did she get Polly from? I thought Wyatt took this dog, she muttered, her confusion evident in her furrowed brows. As she scrolled through the comments, each one full of support for Olivia, her annoyance grew. This is complete bull. She probably faked it all, Monica thought bitterly. Why are they all supporting her? Are they seriously that gullible? She clenched her teeth, her frustration mounting with each supportive comment she read. Olivia's popularity grated on Monica's last nerve. I'm so sick of her, she seethed, her eyes narrowing at the screen. If using dogs won't work, I'll just have to find another way to show everyone what a bitch she truly is. Olivia entered the school with the confident stride, and she couldn't help but notice the beaming faces and warm greetings from her fellow students. Everyone's back to normal, she thought with a sly smile. I have them right where I want them. As she strolled through the bustling halls, Olivia couldn't resist the urge to dip into a few minds. The thoughts of her classmates echoed with regret. I can't believe I bought into those rumors. I hope she forgives me, a student thought. Another student's inner voice chimed in. Of course Olivia wouldn't hurt a dog, or anyone for that matter. She's practically perfect. She's like an angel. I can't believe I ever doubted her, thought a girl walking by Olivia. Olivia couldn't help but feel warmed by the adoration. It seemed her peers were finally seeing the truth. She casually pulled out her phone, knowing that the blog was her next stop. A new post caught her eye, and she couldn't help but chuckle as she read the accusations of her being a spoiled brat. A wicked grin crept across Olivia's face. Well, 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 she thought, her mind buzzing with snarky amusement. They're trying something new. Let's see how this one plays out. It's bound to be fun. Olivia was more than ready for the next round in this high-stakes game of rumors and reputation. Olivia's next class was already buzzing about the most recent social media posts when Olivia Johnson walked into the classroom. Students online were claiming that Olivia had found a random dog to pose with in an attempt to appear like an animal lover. All of Olivia's friends in class knew this clearly wasn't the case. Olivia had raised Polly since she found her in that back alley as a little pup, but convincing others of that was clearly not going to be easy. It was like trying to change a stranger's opinion online. "Good morning, Liv," Millie greeted her meekly. She knew Olivia was going through a hard time with all the cyberbullying and didn't want to upset her further in case she hadn't seen the post. But how couldn't she? It was all anyone at school could talk about these days. It had taken over their entire high school lives at this point. "Good morning, Millie," Olivia said. "It's all right. I've seen the posts. I know what they're saying about me and Polly online." "I'm so sorry, Olivia," Millie said, going in for a hug. "I wish I knew how to make them stop. If there's anything I can do to make you feel better, just let me know." "Thanks, Millie. I really appreciate it," Olivia replied warmly. At least the people in this classroom had some common sense. "It really is so horrible what they're doing to you," Steve Shook said. "Where do they get off?" "What are these idiots thinking?" Sam Feinstein joined in. "Do they not have brains? Even if you did temporarily borrow a dog for a photo shoot, there's no way you'd be able to fake that level of intimacy between pet and owner. It's clear you've been in each other's lives for a long time. You can't nurture that overnight." Olivia smiled. Funny to think Sam and her were opposing each other for class president a while back, and now they were on the same side. Regardless of their past, Olivia was happy to have yet another person fighting for her. "We have to get them to see reason," Steve suggested. "Give them some common sense." "Ugh, that's a good one," Millie chuckled sarcastically. "The internet is always such a great forum for nuance and level-headed debate. Face it, we can't make them listen if they're shoving their fingers in their ears." Suddenly, the gears in Olivia's head were turning, and she was formulating a new plan. Everything her friends had been saying was giving her the building blocks of an idea. "Maybe we don't need them to listen," Olivia said. "What if we show them instead?" "Show them?" Steve asked. "Show them how? What are you talking about? They've already seen the pictures we took of you and Polly. That didn't work." "Sure, they saw those pictures," said Olivia, already working on her phone, "but they have nothing to compare it to." Everyone could see Olivia was working quickly. They didn't understand it yet, but they were all eager to help. "What do you want us to do?" asked Millie. "Nothing yet," Olivia replied. "First, I'll set a trap. I'll make a post and wait for all the trolls to come into the comments. We need to make sure we have them paying attention. Whatever you do, don't be the first to reply." Olivia's cohorts nodded, all taking out their phones and opening it to the Marshall School forum. Olivia winked at them and pressed send on her phone. Half a second later, it popped up on all their social media feeds. She had picked a few random photos of her and Polly and put them in the album. She also gave it the title, "The shelter dog I found at the last minute was so cooperative." "What are you doing?" Millie blurted out. "Olivia, this is exactly what they already think about you. You're feeding into their narrative." "Just wait, Millie," Olivia asserted. "We're setting a trap, remember?" Millie shifted nervously back and forth, unsure about this plan. Sure enough, the vultures came out in the comments, posting more and more nasty things. "Oh, so the dog abuser admits it," one person wrote. Disgusting, another anonymous commenter agreed. "Huh, I knew she was a fraud," yet another student wrote. Once Olivia was satisfied that enough of the school was paying attention, she gave her friends the go-ahead to start commenting too. "Okay, now," she said. Everyone nodded and began typing away, offering support in the comments. They had been holding it in for too long, watching the bloodbath unfold. Clearly she's joking," one of them commented. "Do you have eyes? No last-minute dog would have this intimacy level. Polly and Olivia have been in each other's lives for so long. Liv is a loving owner," another attested. Olivia knew none of these comments would change anyone's minds, but the more people engaging would cause the post to get more views from others, causing more engagement and therefore even more views. She was going to game the algorithm until they were at peak engagement. Once both sides of the argument were bustling with noise and excitement, throwing accusations at each other now, Olivia knew the time was right for the next phase of her plan. While everyone had been arguing in the comments, Olivia was creating a new post. When she was ready, she pressed send. "Again?" she instructed her loyal crew. "Don't reply until I say so." This new post was just 2 photos. One of them was a picture of Polly when she was just a little puppy, resting in Olivia's lap. The second photo had just been taken yesterday, also of Polly in Olivia's lap, but she was now clearly a full-grown dog. In both of these photos, Polly was looking up at Olivia with big, loving eyes. This time, Olivia's caption read, "So lucky I accidentally found a dog with the exact same coloring and demeanor as my old one," and was punctuated with a winky face emoji. Even after a few minutes, the comment section was dead silent. Seeing that the number of views was still going up and up, but there were no comments, Olivia sneered. She knew people were sharing the post, but it was becoming clear to everyone that this was the same dog. Olivia made yet another post, this time with 4 photos. The caption read, "What a horrible life this poor abused dog has led." The first photo was of Polly obediently lying on Olivia's knee when she was young, a chew toy in her mouth. This picture was taken when Olivia first started training the dog. The second picture was of Olivia giving Polly a bubble bath. The soppy, wet Siberian husky looked like a rat with all her fur matted down with soapy water. Olivia was clearly laughing in the photo, attempting to clean her puppy while she cleaned out the tub, licking her face. Both of them were covered in sudsy soap bubbles. The third photo was taken after Olivia had taken Polly back from Wyatt. It showed Polly, looking much more grown, sitting on a scale. Polly sat on the scale on her back legs, raising her front paws while Olivia dangled a treat in front of her snout. She had clearly been a healthy and well-fed dog. The last picture was of Olivia lying in her bed at night, reading a book with Polly adorably snuggled up across Olivia's stomach, making it difficult to read. This photo was taken by Olivia's mother, Victoria, and the two of them got a kick out of it every time they saw it. The picture had a very warm and silly atmosphere that would make anyone smile. Once she had posted, Olivia commented on her own post, "In all seriousness, does this look like an abused dog to you?" The post had only been up for 10 seconds and was already receiving thousands of clicks. The people who had been spreading rumors about Olivia all this time were dumbfounded. Olivia nodded to her classmates, giving the go-ahead to comment away. They began giving their support under the newest posts, each using the facepalm emoji as a way of showing Olivia just slapped anyone who crossed her in the face with this. Students around Marshall School were flabbergasted by this development, sharing the post over and over again. Clearly someone had lied to them about Polly being an abused dog. "Didn't someone say she was a dog beater?" a student in Monica's classroom asked. "Yeah, what the hell?" another student added. "Monica, what's going on? Is this true?" Monica was sweating profusely, caught in her own lie. She didn't think Olivia would make a massive spectacle of this. "Monica, I thought you said your sister found some random dog for that shoot. What gives?" Monica stuttered. I don't know. Olivia doesn't live at home anymore. Maybe she found a dog that looks just like her old one?" The students grumbled. No one bought this weak excuse. It was becoming clearer by the minute Monica was a bold-faced liar. "Monica, tell the truth," a girl jeered. "If this is true, then you got the entire school to pick on Olivia for absolutely no reason?" "Yeah, Monica, that's messed up," another student said. "How could you do that to your own sister?" "What's wrong with you, Monica? Are you nuts or something, or just really jealous or vindictive?" Monica could feel the entire classroom turning on her. Her phone was blowing up with notifications of more people asking the same questions over and over. "Oh God," she thought. "This is bad. This is so very bad." Unable to come up with a proper explanation or comeback, and with everyone surrounding her accusingly, Monica did the only thing she could think of. Suddenly, without warning, Monica started blubbering like a baby throwing a tantrum. Tears streamed down her beet-red cheeks, and she laid her head down on her desk, covering her head with her hands. "Why is everyone picking on me?" Monica gasped through heaving sobs. "Why are you all being so mean? I literally didn't do anything." "Monica, are you really crying right now?" Erica Taylor said, rolling her eyes. "You're not going to get away with that easily." "Erica?" the teacher snapped. "What's going on? Are you bullying Monica?" The teacher saw Monica's crocodile tears at her desk and assumed the students were picking on her. Yes," Monica sniffled pathetically. "Everyone's calling me names and being mean to me." "Oh, come on, you big baby," a male student groaned. "That's enough," the teacher said. "I want no more of this behavior in my classroom. This is unacceptable." Erica pursed her lips, seeing the way Monica got the teacher on her side with just a few bratty tears. She knew it didn't look good for her from the teacher's perspective, so she kept her mouth shut for now. "I can't believe the teacher's buying this crap," Erica thought. "We just wanted to know the truth. What the hell?" "Are you all right, Monica?" asked her teacher. "Do you need to step out?" "No, ma'am, I'll be all right," said Monica, wiping the snot from her nose. The rest of the students all grumbled, turning back to their work. They'd let it go for the moment, but between Olivia's enlightening posts and Monica's behavior, it was clear to everyone that Olivia was not a dog abuser, and Monica was a petty liar. Now that all eyes were off her, Monica rubbed her puffy eyes and steadied her breath. "You'll pay for this, Olivia," Monica thought. "This isn't over yet."